What's up, y'all? This is my 2008 Honda Fit, and I have owned and loved this thing for years now, and there are many reasons why I do. It's fuel efficient, it's fun to drive, it's like a little go kart, it's very practical and convenient. You can pack your family and a ton of belongings in there, no problem, and just zip around to whatever little trips or destinations you want. It's also mega cursed. It is cursed. I am convinced that it hates me now and is just giving me problems to complicate my life. Why? Why, car? Maybe a month back, I decided I was going to sell this because I wanted to get a truck so that I could start, a side hustle with a truck, maybe earn some money on the side doing truck things. And so I was going to sacrifice this car in order to get a four-door truck that could still haul the family around, and then just a little bit more practical for money making purposes. But this thing started having every issue in the book: misfires, electrical problems, catalytic converter problems. I got a P420 on it. And it's been a rush to figure out what the heck is wrong with it ever since. Like here in this area, I noticed there was some cracked wiring around where the coil pack is, the connectors for the coil pack, especially on cylinder one. Like if I mess with the wiring, it would kind of fix it and then trigger it. And then there's these wires out around the front of the car, and I have no idea what that does. No clue. The the water, not the water, but the coolant dries out. So it's leaking somewhere, but I can't find the leak. It never overheats unless I go up like a really tall hill. But there's also like no white smoke coming out or anything, or black smoke, or any kind of like weird smoke coming out. So I don't think it's a head gasket issue, or I don't think that it's coming out of the head gasket. It might, I don't know. But it also had the electrical issue, and it would shut off, it would shutter, it would want to die on me. And I eventually figured out that it was just loose wiring, like this red thing right here, where you plug up the positive side of the battery. It's just super loose because it's super worn out. So I just, went to my little toolbox and I messed with it, jiggled it around, and fixed it. I messed with stuff underneath the fuse box. I took out the what is it called? EMS? I don't know. There was some weird thing under there that I took out and I had to put back in because it caused more problems than it fixed. And then I got a P420, which meant that the catalytic converter was underperforming, and that could be related to several things, including a leak in the exhaust system. But I don't think there's a leak in there. I don't hear any kind of leak. Is there a leak? Potentially. But I did switch out this catalytic converter that we're looking at right now. It was rotted out a little bit on the top, and so it rattled. Also, when I was driving down the road, it would rattle a little bit, and you'll see in a little bit that I play with it. But anyway, tons of issues, and I've just been trying to chase it down ever since. Um, Here, I'm trying to remove the O2 sensor out of there to try and fix the P420. I really don't think it's an O2 sensor issue. I think it's fine. The code actually went away for a short while, but it's back now. Well, I'm not sure. It might be back. I don't know because I did switch out this catalytic converter and put in a different one that I'm very certain actually works. And this is me just like taking off the heat shield just because I was desperate to get this thing off, and I really needed to get that O2 sensor out of there, and I had to get the heat shield off before I could get the O2 sensor out of there. It was this whole situation. I even got a special socket for O2 sensors, and it ended up being useless because it didn't even fit under there where I needed it to fit. Well, anyway, I ended up doing a ton of stuff that you're going to see me working on as I sort of go along here. Um, but going back like a month and a half after I finally decided that this is something I was going to do for sure, this thing starts to randomly misfire. And the misfire is only happening on cylinder 1. So I'm desperately trying to find what's going on with it. And I replaced the spark plug, I replaced the coil pack. Um, didn't fix it. It kind of did for a little bit, and then it was back. It ended up coming back like literally just a week or two later. So I don't think it was a spark plug. I don't think it was the coil pack that was causing the issue, because if it was that, I feel like once I put in the good pack and spark plug, then it would have been fine. I don't know, and the problem didn't persist. And I also switched coil packs. I switched between cylinders. I switched coil packs. I switched spark plugs, and the same problem kept persisting on the first cylinder, on cylinder 1. And you can see I'm just like flapping this thing around. Yeah, this is the one that I had under initially, and this is what got me the P420 code. And I'm just trying to wiggle this thing off here just so I can finally get that dang O2 sensor out of there. But yeah, I'm chasing down this misfire code, and then for like a couple of weeks it just like suddenly disappeared. Just decided to start running fine again. The everything was good. I took it to go get smogged. And then the worst possible news that I could get is like, oh hey, it failed. Yeah, the computer scanning or whatever wasn't complete, I guess. It still needed to complete some more cycles or something. The computer did. And surprise, surprise, once the cycles were completed, the check engine light came on, and I had a P420 code. I actually put this catalytic converter in here because the catalytic converter that was on there was like an aftermarket one, which does not meet California standards, and it's also kind of just, it was like a really botched, badly welded job. Um, it's just me banging out the little nut there, but no pun intended. But yeah, the code came on. I had already replaced the catalytic converter, and now recently, like last week, I replaced it again just to get rid of that code. And I did for like literally a day, and then it came right back. And once all the cycles were completed, it went away, and then the misfire came back. And but hey, like at the very least, I did finally I got rid of this darn electrical problem that I was having. My battery seemed like it just did not want to charge, and it was because of this. The terminal here on the positive side was just very loose, not on the little, what, the stumpy thing, what do you call that, not on that thing itself, not on the thing that it attaches to, the stud, the whatever, I don't know, the post, whatever you call that, not on the post itself, but like on, there's like a separate section right there that I'm wiggling, that is just, it's just loose. So it's on the post tight, but it's still loose on this other cable on the side there. So I had to make sure that everything was tight, not just on the post, but like everything else was making good contact with all of it, all the surfaces in there, making sure that it wasn't just wiggling around like that. I had switched out that little sensor right there, and what that does is it controls it like senses the charge that the alternator is getting, and it regulates it. And I took that out because I was told that it could help fix like issues with charging, and that was a wild goose chase that ended up going nowhere. I ended up putting it back in because all it did was get me another check engine light. So I just put it back, and that check engine light was taken care of. And at least now the car doesn't just want to randomly shut off on me. But I'm still dealing with the issue of this P420 code, which I'm not 100% sure is gone, even though I got a very good catalytic converter on there that I am 99.99% is good, because it was the catalytic converter that was on the car that I passed smog on this last year, which doesn't guarantee anything, right? But that's the catalytic converter that helped me pass this car's smog inspection, because like I said, the catalytic converter that it had on here, the whole exhaust system that was on this car originally, was not approved by California standards. Now, as soon as I passed the thing, yes, that's a little gray area. We're not going to admit to anything. In imaginary land, I switched things around a little bit. But anyway, I also thought it might have been the airbox that was causing me problems. That maybe I sucked up some water through this little tube here. So I removed the tube so I would have extra protection against like water splashing up, whatever. But that didn't help either. And this is me just putting on the latest catalytic converter in attempt to get rid of that P420 code. And I think finally it might be gone. Not 100% sure. Now the biggest issue once again is the misfiring, and not only has the misfiring come back, it has intensified, because it is no longer just on cylinder 1. It is on cylinder 1 and 3. So the random misfires are happening a lot more often, and they are happening on multiple cylinders. So now my check engine light is on permanently because of the multiple misfires that have been confirmed by the car's computer system. And so that's where I'm at. Now I have a car that is thankfully not randomly shutting off on me because I figured out the electrical issue. But yeah, I took a little trip to the junkyard to get another piece from this poor sacrificed Honda Fit of the same vintage. Yeah, I had to take a little trip. I had to take a little break from trying to save this thing, and just because I needed the little back cover there, uh, because I need to put the stock wiper back on. I was doing a little project on this car where you can do like a wiper delete, and you can just do a wiper delete and plug up the little hole where the wiper goes. You can just plug it up and call it a day. But I really wanted to put a backup camera in that hole, and that's what I did. And before I decided to sell the car, I was actually working on sort of perfecting that. But now that I'm selling it, I no longer need to do that. I am going to keep the original panel that I have the camera mounted onto, which is why I needed this new panel, a stock panel, a little plastic cover there on the tailgate, or boot lid, trunk lid, whatever you want to call it. I needed that piece, and this is just like a little cosmetic thing. It's no big deal, not really crucial. It's just one of those things that I need to button up so I can finally close up all the exposed door. So you can see I got it. That's the part that I was looking for. And so I switched this out. You can see a little camera right there. Yeah, I just needed to do that. But I mean that is it. You are caught up with the Honda Fit projects. That's what's going on. Yep, that is all, folks. That is how your boy found out that this car is absolutely cursed and has got it out for me. Still having issues, still trying to figure it out. I just replaced this little back piece just to try and do something to keep me from going crazy. Yeah, trying really hard to get that figured out. Hopefully with a valve adjustment, maybe it'll take care of that misfire. I am not sure. I can't be sure. I am super close to just giving up on the whole thing. I don't know. Hopefully, you're having better luck with your projects. This is me. This is my cursed car. Thank you for watching. Bye.